Hi students, welcome back to another live session here at ODA Class. Students, my name is Mitali Joshi and today I will be teaching you about active and passive voice. Before I start, I want to introduce myself as well as ODA Class. Starting with ODA Class, students, we are a live learning app where students of all grades from 1 to 10 get to come to us and learn from a group of amazing master teachers like myself. We have also received the most innovative EdTech award for the platform that we have created. And students, our teachers have curated a course just for you, which is called the Bridge Course. Now, the Bridge Course is starting on this Monday, and it is going to be a week-long course. So from Monday to Saturday, you will have class every single day. And out of these 6 classes, you will have 3 maths as well as 3 science classes. Now, these are all conducted by our group of master teachers. But apart from this, you will also have access to your own personal mentor teacher. Now, this mentor teacher is going to help you throughout the course. So whether it comes to helping you with your doubts in the homework or in the tests or in the books and modules that we provide to you for extra practice, your mentor teacher will be there to help you and guide you throughout all of this. Students, if you want to enroll in the Bridge course, you can click on the link in the description box below and enroll for just rupees 29. Let me move on to a quick introduction of myself. So like I said, students, I am Mitali ma'am. I graduated from Ohio State University 3 years ago, and I have been teaching ever since. And I am now an English master teacher here at ODA Class. So like I said, today I will be teaching you about active and passive voice and also how to change sentences from the active to the passive voice and vice versa. Starting off with what exactly is active voice. So in the active voice, the subject is performing the action. Students, in a previous video, I have talked to you about subject and predicate. So if you want, you can go back to that video and learn about the different parts of sentences. To start off with this, here our subject is Nehal. Nehal cooked the food. Our verb, I'm sure you know, is cooked. So Nehal here is performing the action of cooking the food. In passive voice, on the other hand, the subject receives the action, which means that the action is performed on the subject. Now, in this sentence, our subject is the food, right? Our verb remains cooked, or it was cooked in this situation. And if you notice, the subject is not performing the action, but the subject is being affected by the action, which means the action is being performed on the subject, which is why this is called the passive voice. Let's take a look at the difference between active and passive voice. So here we have shipped your order. Our subject here is we, and have shipped is our verb. And lastly, our object is the order. So what I want you to notice here is that we, our subject, has performed the action of shipping the order. Now, in the passive voice, your order has been shipped by us. So if you notice, what was the object in the active voice has now become the subject in the passive voice. And the action is being performed on the subject in the passive voice. So your order has been shipped by us. Let's take another look here. Subject, we, verb, shipped, object, your order, which shifts now. Our subject and our object switch spots. So our object comes here. Your order has been shipped by us, which was originally our subject. So that is the key difference, students. In active voice, the subject performs the action. In the passive voice, the subject receives the action. So can you tell me, by that logic, is this sentence in the active or in the passive voice. The house was cleaned by her. What do you think, students? Is this active or is this passive voice? Let's first figure out our subject. It's the house in this sentence. We have our action or our verb, which is was cleaned. Now we know that here the action is being performed on the subject. The house is not cleaning anything. The house is being cleaned by her, which means that this sentence is in the passive voice. Let's take one more. The policeman chased the thief. What do you think, students? Is this in the active or in the passive voice? As always, let's first look at the subject. Our subject here is the policeman. Our action or our verb is chased. And in this sentence, it is very clear that the subject is performing the action. The policeman is performing the action of chasing the thief, which means that this sentence is in the active voice. Now, students, one thing that I want you to notice and remember about sentence change is that the meaning and the tense, two things, the meaning and the tense of the sentence must not change. So now I will teach you how to change the voice of a sentence. But remember that the meaning and the tense, both of these things cannot change even when we change the voice. And one important thing to notice is that pronouns also change when you change voice. Because, as we saw earlier, our subject becomes the object and vice versa. So let's take a look at how that pronoun change happens. So for our singular pronouns, I becomes me. I did some action, but this action was done by me. So that is the difference here. I is the subject form, me is the object form. Students, if you want to learn a little bit more about pronouns and understand the subject versus the object form, you can go back to one of my previous videos where I have taught you all there is to know about personal pronouns. Second up, we have the second person, of course. You remains you, whether in the active voice or in the passive voice. And lastly, we have he or she, which becomes him or her. Let's take an example to understand this. He enjoyed the party. So here our subject is he, our verb or action is enjoyed, and our object is the party. So when we change the voice, the party must become our subject. Enjoyed must remain as the verb, and he becomes our object. So let's see how to do that. The party was enjoyed by him. Notice object from here becomes the subject here. We change the verb so that the meaning of the sentence remains the same, and we shift the subject to the object and also change the form of the pronoun. He here becomes him in the second sentence. Let's take a look at the plural pronouns as well. We becomes us. You, as we already saw earlier, remains you. They becomes them. And lastly, it once again remains it. Let's take an example once again. They are painting the walls. Once again, our subject here is they. Our painting is our verb and the walls is the object. So when we transform the voice, we want to make this our subject. The walls has to come at the beginning of the sentence. And they becomes our object, which is why we transform it this way. The walls becomes our subject, are being painted by them. Students, also take note of the fact that we are changing the form of the verb so that the tense of the sentence does not change. So that is how we transform sentences from active to passive voice. We change the pronoun because We are changing the subject and the object. Subject becomes the object and the object becomes the subject. Students, let's gather all of this knowledge and do some quizzes now. I will never forget this experience. I will never forget this experience. So we are trying to change this. I hope you're able to see that this sentence is in the active voice. Our subject, which is me, is performing this action of never forgetting this experience. So let's transform it. Let's make our object the subject. So this experience, something by me. Remember, I becomes me. So let's take a look at how we do that. This experience has now become our subject. This experience will never be forgotten by me. Next up, we have this question. We admired the beauty of the park. Once again, let's first figure out which voice this sentence is in. We, the subject, admired is the verb. So the subject is performing the action, which means that this sentence is in the active voice. So we admired the beauty of the park. This entire thing is going to be our object here. So let's make it our subject. The beauty of the park was admired by us. Once again, notice that we becomes us. Subject form we becomes object form us. And last up, we have the dog was frightened by the sudden noise. The dog was frightened by the sudden noise. Now here, our action, frightened, is being performed by the subject. So that is in the active voice. And when we transform it, we take the object here, which is the sudden noise, and we make it our subject. The sudden noise frightened the dog. Notice here, students, the sudden noise, our subject, has performed the action of frightening the dog. So here, passive becomes active. Do we notice this, students? By the sudden noise becomes the sudden noise frightened the dog. Let's do a quick summary of today's lesson. We have learned about active voice and passive voice. In the active voice, the subject performs the action. In the passive voice, the action is performed upon the subject. And the difference is that active voice is used when you want the focus to be on the subject. And passive voice is used when you want the focus to be on the action that is being performed. Now, students, I know you've had a great time learning with me about this. So let me bring you back once again to ODA class. Because like I said, we do have our bridge course, which is starting on this upcoming Monday. And the things that you need to know about the bridge course are that it will be a week-long program from Monday till Saturday. And out of these 6 classes, you will have 3 maths as well as 3 science, which are all conducted by our group of master teachers. And apart from these master teachers, you will have access to your own personal mentor teacher. Now, your mentor teacher will guide you throughout the course, whether it comes to attendance reminders or homework reminders, or helping you through any doubts that you have as you go through the homeworks and the modules and books that we provide to you for extra practice. To enroll in this course, students, you can click on the link in the description box and finish your enrollment and come study with me and my teachers in the bridge course. And students, you have been answering a lot of quizzes in my videos, but you haven't been really rewarded for these. So let me tell you, in the bridge course, you are actually rewarded for the amazing habits that you create. Whether that's coming to class on time, whether it's keeping your focus and your attention on the class throughout the class, or whether it's answering the questions correctly. So what are you waiting for, students? Download the app, enroll in the bridge course, come learn with us. And once you have enough coins, you can redeem them in the ODA Mall for things like a smartphone or a smart water bottle or a speaker. So thank you all students. If you have enjoyed this video, you can like and share and also subscribe to the ODA class channel so that you don't miss our future videos. Thank you and I hope to see you soon in the bridge course.